देखिए इनकी भ्रांति है, प्रधानमंत्री सत्य के फेवर में बोले हैं।
मोहित भट्ट।
सर, जिस प्रकार से सारी विपक्षी पार्टियां भी अब साथ आ रही हैं, पहले वो अलग-अलग मुद्दों पे पार्लियामेंट में अलग-अलग दिखी थी, लेकिन इस मुद्दे पे वो सड़कों पे आने की बात कर रही है। आम आदमी पार्टी ने प्रोटेस्ट किया, टीएमसी भी प्रोटेस्ट करेगी, तो इस मुद्दे पे सारी विपक्षी पार्टी एक साथ आ रही है।
देखिए सत्य को किसी के सपोर्ट की जरूरत नहीं होती। हमारी बात में, हमारे मुद्दों के साथ सत्य स्वयं खड़ा है। सत्य सबके साथ सत्य ही रहता है। कितने भी लोग साथ में आए, इससे सत्य को कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता।
कृष्ण मोहन शर्मा।
सर, कृष्ण मोहन शर्मा, भारत एक्सप्रेस से। आज एक बहुत आश्चर्यजनक बात ये हुई कि लोग कभी कहते थे कि मैं संविधान को नहीं मानता, मैं एनार्किस्ट हूँ, मुझे जनता ने संविधान के लिए नहीं अरविंद केजरीवाल को वोट दिया है, वो भी आपकी आलोचना कर रहे थे और कह रहे थे कि बाबा साहब भीमराव अम्बेडकर का बड़ा अपमान किया है।
चलो कम से कम मेरे कारण अरविंद केजरीवाल जी संविधान का और बाबा साहब का सम्मान करने लगे, वो आनंद का विषय है।
संजय जी।
सर, आपका भाषण सभी ने देखा था, सुना था। उस समय कोई सी चीज सामने नहीं आई थी, लेकिन उसके बाद से जैसे जब आपकी स्पीच जब खत्म हो गई, जब बाहर निकले, उसके बाद में सोशल मीडिया पर जिस तरीके से एक के बाद चीजें आने लगी, उस समय आपको लगा था कि सीधे आप ही पे अटैक कर रहे हैं।
शायद आप भूल रहे हैं कि राज्यसभा में श्री राहुल गांधी नहीं बैठते हैं। राहुल गांधी राज्यसभा, लोकसभा में बैठते हैं।
आमोद जी।
सर, आपने इस भाषण के खिलाफ प्रिविलेज का नोटिस दिया है डायरेक्ट जुलाई में राज्यसभा। क्या प्रिविलेज का मामला इसमें बनता है?
मुझे क्या मालूम, हो तो स्पीकर साहब ने तय करना पड़ेगा, सभापति जी तय करेंगे।
मोहित सॉरी अमित।
सर, खड़गे जी ने ये भी कहा कि आपको लगातार डिफेंड किया गया था टीएमसी ओसीबी इस बयान के बाद, और देश में जगह-जगह लोगों में गुस्सा है।
मुझे लगता है कि खड़गे जी ने आत्मनिरीक्षण करने की जरूरत है। वो जो कर रहे हैं इसके प्रति गुस्सा है या मेरे बयान के प्रति, वो उनको थोड़े दिन में मालूम पड़ जाएगा।
आप पूछना चाहते हैं?
नहीं, बीजेपी को टारगेट कर रहे हैं वो सही है, क्योंकि जनता के फैसले लगातार बीजेपी के पक्ष में आ रहे हैं। इसका उनके पास ना कोई काट है ना कोई तोड़ है। इसलिए जनता के फैसले के बाद ईवीएम पर सवाल उठाते हैं। जनता के फैसले के बाद खुशफहमी में रहते हैं कि हारने के बाद भी कि हम जीते हैं, और जनता के फैसले के बाद भी फिर से एक बार भ्रांति फैलाने का प्रयास करते हैं, परंतु जनता सब जानती है।
अंतिम सवाल रविकांत जी।
सर, पूरे सत्र के दौरान देखा गया है कि इंडिया अलायंस सभी मुद्दों पर एकजुट नहीं था, लेकिन कल के भाषण के आपके भाषण के बाद उनको लगता है कि एक मुद्दा मिल गया, आपके भाषण की वजह से सभी एकजुट होकर आप पर हमला कर रहे हैं, तो आपने यूनाइट कर दिया उनको।
ऐसा नहीं है। जब एक प्रकार का नैरेटिव खड़ा होने का, गलत नैरेटिव खड़ा करने का प्रयास होता है, तब शुरू में नैरेटिव गलत है या सही वो समझे बगैर काफी लोग साथ देते हैं। जब जनता का रिएक्शन आता है तब कुछ स्थिति अलग होती है। आप थोड़ी राह देखिए।
आप सभी मीडिया के साथियों का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। आप सब बहुत कम समय में आए, आपका आभार।
धन्यवाद।
Union Home Minister Amit Shah there in a stinging attack on the Congress party, going on to accuse them of distorting his statement that was made on the floor of the upper house yesterday when he was concluding the constitution debate. This is the Wednesday edition of Plain Speak. You're watching with me, Poonam Burde. And the Ambedkar face-off has taken an fierce turn, with the Congress and other allies of the India bloc coming out and latching on to what Amit Shah said yesterday on the floor of the House in the Rajya Sabha. But there was one particular clip that the Congress has latched onto, which is just a few seconds edited clip, and that is a distorted clip, says Amit Shah, when he responded to the allegations that were made against him. The Congress even in fact asked for Prime Minister Modi to remove Amit Shah from his cabinet, to which the Union Home Minister responded that they can dream about it all they want, but for the next 15 years, the Congress is going to remain in the opposition and they will not dictate who the people of this country want at the helm of affairs. Payal, my colleague now joining us, getting us more perspective on this. Payal, since morning we've seen the Congress leading the attack from the opposition rank against Union Home Minister Amit Shah specifically and the BJP as a whole. But now Amit Shah has come out and rebutted every single allegation, also hinting at legal recourse or legal options that the BJP would look at for this distorted clip that the Congress put out of the Union Home Minister.
Well, of course, this is another fake news that is being perpetrated by the Congress party. That's essentially the argument of the BJP on this fact, because whatever the Home Minister said has been part of parliamentary record. It is on record and it is there for everybody to examine. And that's the reason that the Home Minister, in fact, asking the media to show that to show the entire clip and to put it into the right perspective, because this can actually send a negative message across to people, in particular with the fact that it's a very, very sensitive issue. The respect for B.R. Ambedkar has been reflected by the Modi government, is what the Home Minister has really said, and he said this in as many words in his press conference as well. So obviously, with the war of words continuing, with Manikam Tagore first setting the cat amongst the pigeon by putting out that gentleman ocean, and with the fact that the Congress party tweeted or put out that 11-second clip, the BJP set the ball rolling. You had none other than the Prime Minister himself, in fact, tweeting a series of tweets on that entire issue. And right now, Union Home Minister Amit Shah, Party President JP Nadda, Piyush Goyal, Ashwin Vaishnav, Kiran Rijiju, 6 to 7 ministers sitting in that briefing that the Home Minister has held. And he basically has said that he challenges the Congress party to prove him wrong, because whatever he has said with a lot of research, and he said it as a part of parliamentary records. Poonam.
Right, all that has been stated are facts. If the Congress wants to argue with me on facts, then I'm more than happy to do so, but do not distort what I said was the clear message that came to the fore from the Union Home Minister. Aman also joins us on this broadcast, getting us more perspective. And Aman, it was very clear that the BJP was going for the jugular as far as this controversy went. That was made clear not just by the statements that came to the fore from the Parliamentary Affairs Minister this morning and BJP spokespersons, but when the Prime Minister himself put out a long social media post telling the Congress why what they were claiming was wrong.
See, Poonam, it is very rare that in a single day you get the Prime Minister to put out such strong posts on, social media, a series of posts, and then you see Amit Shah, the Union Home Minister, flanked by 4 other Union Ministers, do this big press conference. This shows that the BJP is very, very clear. It does not want any fake narratives, be it on Bhimrao Ambedkar, be it on the Constitution, or be it on the issue of reservations to flourish. It doesn't want the message to go amongst the people in any way that about fake narratives about this particular issues, because BJP has learned it the hard way from the Lok Sabha elections, when this whole narrative of Samvidhan Khatre mein hai, in a way got ground amongst the people, and that is why maybe BJP suffered in the Lok Sabha election. This time the BJP is not going to allow the Congress party to paint any fake narrative, and you heard Amit Shah clearly say there that they have put out a shortened edited video of just 11 seconds to distort what I was trying to say. I was saying that the Congress party has never respected the ideology of Bhimrao Ambedkar. The examples are replete in history about the same, right from not allowing his portrait in the central hall of the parliament, defeating him twice in election, Jawaharlal Nehru campaigning against him, not giving him the Bharat Ratna, not letting any of his memorials come up, not trying to stop him when he was resigning from the Union cabinet. So the Congress history, right from Jawaharlal Nehru to Indira Gandhi to the future generations of the Congress, have always been anti-Ambedkar. And Amit Shah making it very, very clear that he comes from a party which even in its dreams can never insult B.R. Ambedkar, because B.R. Ambedkar is an inspiration for the BJP, also for the Jan Sangh and top leaders of the BJP, be it Mr. Modi, be it Mr. Amit Shah. Everybody has openly said that, and his statement is being distorted. Amit Shah, in fact, going back and saying that even earlier, Prime Minister Modi's statements, in his own statement during the Lok Sabha elections in April, if you remember, a morph video of Amit Shah on reservations at that time had been circulated. Amit Shah reflecting, pointing to that as well, that even at that time they tried to do this, but this time I think the BJP is very clear. They have put out their top guns, right from the Prime Minister to the Home Minister to top Union Ministers, to say that what the Congress is trying to do is to mislead the people, paint a fake narrative, and appealing to the media and also to the people to put out the entire statement, which is part of the Rajya Sabha records, not that particular shortened edited video which the Congress is propagating. He also saying that all legal options are open for the BJP, both inside and outside the parliament, to counter counter this narrative of the Congress party.
And speaking of Parliament, Payal, both houses of both the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha are going to be in session till the end of this week. We saw the kind of ruckus that ensued in the Lok Sabha today. It was immediately adjourned. There was no business that was done. Are we expecting similar scenes for the rest of the week as well? Because it doesn't look like the opposition is going to let this go. And the BJP, like I said, is already on the offensive.
Well, of course, the Congress party is a principal opposition party in both houses, and essentially the Congress, which had issued a whip to all its members of parliament in the Lok Sabha to be present today, which clearly means that the Congress is going to go on the offensive. They do not want to back out as far as this entire matter is concerned, even though the government has made multiple appeals to them that do not distort fact. They should not forget their own history, which has been checkered with insulting, Baba Sahib Ambedkar all the time as well. In fact, yesterday also, when the law minister was speaking on the floor of the house, he said that so much is the respect for Baba Sahib Ambedkar and his principles that the Prime Minister has chosen to make him. He also comes in from the SC community, the same community that Baba Sahib Ambedkar stood for, and made him the second law minister after Baba Sahib Ambedkar from the same community to become the law minister. And the BJP has also been saying, Poonam, that so much for our constitution, so much for the love and respect for the Baba Sahib Ambedkar. Why is it that the Congress party on multiple occasions has boycotted the celebration of the Constitution Day? Why is it that they speak in a duplicity, they speak in this tone all the time? So it looks like no side is going to back out. And like Aman was just pointing out, that the attack from the ruling side has come in from none other than the Prime Minister himself, who put out a series of tweets, probably the rarest of rare occasions when the Prime Minister will speak about anything which is so serious so far. He doesn't weigh in unless otherwise it's absolutely... You saw this happen in the last session of Parliament. When Rahul Gandhi got up and spoke about the Hindus in a certain manner, Prime Minister Modi got up and spoke to him and answered him back on the floor of the house, saying that he can't make a comment like this or cannot make a sweeping comment like this about the Hindus. This is actually the kind of response that you've seen. 6 ministers flanking Amit Shah, including party president JP Nadda and INB Minister Ashwin Vaishnaw amongst the others, clearly tells you that none of the sides are willing to back out. But just 2 days for Parliament session to go, let's see if any business can be transacted.
Do keep an eye out on that. But for the moment, Payal and Aman, thank you so much for getting us that perspective. Let's open this up to our panelists who join us on Plain Speak as well. Gopal Agarwal, National Spokesperson of the BJP, Adil Hassan, Spokesperson of the AIMIM, and Advocate Sumit Chanda joins us as well. Adil Hassan, let me begin by asking you if you've heard what the opposition has been saying today, specifically the Congress, on what Union Home Minister said yesterday on the floor of the House in the Rajya Sabha on the Constitution. Let me ask you, do you agree with what the Congress is saying?
It is clear that Mr. Amit Shah insulted Ambedkar. It is the RSS ideology. From the day one RSS insulted Ambedkar साहब. ये एक सच्चाई है. आप RSS की किताबें पढ़ लीजिए, ऑर्गेनाइजर पढ़ लीजिए, 1947, 48, 50, 52 और गोवलकर को पढ़ लीजिए. इनके जितने भी मठाधीश हैं इनको पढ़ लीजिए. इन्होंने बाबा साहेब अम्बेडकर से हमेशा दूरियां बनाए रहे और उनसे दूरियां रखाई. आरएसएस बीजेपी से बोलिए, जब अम्बेडकर साहब ने राइट टू खुद वो धर्म परिवर्तन किए थे, उन्होंने तो कानून नहीं बनाया था लॉ ऑफ कन्वर्जन का. बीजेपी अगर मानती अम्बेडकर साहब तो लॉ ऑफ कन्वर्जन क्यों कानून बनाती? बीजेपी से पूछिए फ्रीडम ऑफ रिलीजन क्या है, फ्रीडम ऑफ एक्सप्रेशन क्या है. बीजेपी से पूछिए यूनिफॉर्म सिविल कोड जो बोलती है, तो हर गोवा में यूनिफॉर्म सिविल कोड अलग क्यों होता है? बीजेपी से पूछिए कि अमित शाह सिर्फ सेलेक्टिव माइनॉरिटी को टारगेट, मुसलमानों को टारगेट करने की बात की. गोवा में अगर 25 और 30 साल के बीच में,
सर, आई एम ग्लैड आपने यूसीसी की बात की, और बिकॉज हम अंबेडकर की और कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन की बात कर रहे हैं. अंबेडकर साहब ने यूसीसी के बारे में भी कहा था कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन के टाइम पे, और कहा था कि रिलीजन बेस्ड लॉज नहीं होने चाहिए. तो फिर आप यूसीसी के अगेंस्ट क्यों है? तब आप कहेंगे कि एआईएमआईएम बाबा साहेब अंबेडकर के आइडियोलॉजी के अगेंस्ट है, क्योंकि बाबा साहेब अंबेडकर तो एडवोकेट कर रहे थे यूसीसी के लिए.
मैम सुनिए, उन्होंने उसको डायरेक्टिव प्रिंसिपल में रखा, उन्होंने उन्होंने दिया, उन्होंने डिस्कशन की बात की. ये तुगलकी फरमान उन्होंने नहीं जारी किया. शराब पे भी पाबंदी है. बोलिए भाजपा को, अमित शाह को बोलिए गुजरात से शुरुआत करे. सबसे ज्यादा शराब कहाँ बिकती है? भाजपा राज में बिकती है. फ्रीडम ऑफ रिलीजन पर अमित शाह बात करे. अनडिवाइडेड हिंदू प्रॉपर्टी में जो टैक्स रिबेट है उस पर अमित शाह बात करे. जो नॉर्थ ईस्ट में जो लॉ अलग है, जो गोवा में लॉ अलग है, उस पर अमित शाह बात करे. अमित शाह बात करेंगे तब पे ना बात करेंगे. अमित शाह जान गए कि इनसे इतनी बड़ी भूल हुई है, इनको तो देश से माफी मांगना चाहिए. प्रधानमंत्री उनके लिए बैटिंग कर रहे हैं, पूरा कैबिनेट बैटिंग कर रहा है. ये इनको गलती का एहसास होना चाहिए कि उन्होंने, बाबा साहेब अम्बेडकर ने इस देश को जोड़ा. आज पूरा हिंदुस्तान जो है एक माला में जो बना है वो बाबा साहेब अम्बेडकर की देन है. बाबा साहेब अम्बेडकर के बिना, और ये अम्बेडकर क्या है? अम्बेडकर एक धरोहर है. अम्बेडकर हिंदुस्तान की आन बान शान है. अम्बेडकर के बिना बाबा साहब के बिना इस देश के बारे में कल्पना करना अधूरा है।
बिल्कुल
ये
सही।
सावरकर करते हैं, पूरा देश अंबेडकर करेगा और क़यामत के सुबह तक करेगा।
बिल्कुल सही, which is why I asked you that question on the UCC, something that Baba Saheb Ambedkar himself wanted. But let me get in Gopal Agarwal as well. Gopal Agarwal, the BJP there, of course, going on the offensive. The Congress, meanwhile, and many within the India bloc want to keep the pressure on the BJP, specifically on Union Home Minister Amit Shah.
Udamji, we have to understand that Congress and the opposition party, and here the panelists also, just try to twist the fact. We are not trying to divert anything on the issue. Amit Shah ji very clearly said that look into the whole speech in my speech in the parliament. One thing. Second is cutting only an 11 second out of that, out of context. You want to prepare a propagate a false narrative is also very bad. And the third important thing is he gave a long lecture on stating so many facts how Congress had undermined Baba Saheb Ambedkar ji. They never gave Bharat Ratna to him. He was tried to be defeated 2 times during the Nehru regime. He was not stopped from resigning from the cabinet of the Nehru. Then there are his icons, whether the Panch Tirth which Prime Minister Modi ji has inaugurated, they are the icons of his respect of the nation to Dr. Ambedkar ji. The thing is, what BJP has been doing over the last 10 years specifically, and during earlier time, during 1990, when the portrait of Shri Ambedkar ji was put in the parliament, he was given Bharat Ratna at the initiation of Advani ji and Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji during a combined government with the Janata Dal. So you have to go into the issues. Who has done for Ambedkar ji's legacy and who has worked against that legacy was very clear from the whole speech of Amit Shah ji. And then the second important part is there were certain issues where Ambedkar ji was very categorically said that about the Hindu Muslims, about the partition, Nehru did not listen to him. About 370, Nehru ji did not do anything on it. On the UCC, Congress and opposition have a counter view over what Ambedkar ji thought about it. Reservation based on religion. Though there are so many issues, I am underlying so many issues. Religion based reservation, Article 370, then partition based on religion, then the issue about recognition to his monuments for his recognition of his contribution to the country, about Panch Tirth, then even to the extent that 26 November, when it was declared as a constitutional day by Prime Minister Rahul Gandhi himself opposed. So the issue is very clear. Who takes only the name for, who takes only Ambedkar ji's name for their political gain, and who works for his ideology and for his giving due respect to Shri Ambedkar ji. This is the difference that we want to put before the people of the country.
It's interesting because that's the same argument that flies on both sides. Khalikur Rahman, political analyst, also joins us on this broadcast. Khalikur Rahman, the BJP says that all you're trying to do when the Congress picks up Union Home Minister Amit Shah's statement from yesterday is distort and create a certain kind of fake narrative. What the Congress and what a certain ecosystem tried to do during the Lok Sabha elections as well. In fact, the Union Home Minister today went on to say that I dare you to debate me on facts. If there's anything factually incorrect that I said, then bring it on. Let's open this up.
See, because as for the BJP is concerned, BJP is in fact master in creating the lies, and they run the lies factory. And if that was the case, then why was the Parliament adjourned immediately after the Home Minister Amit Shah's speech? They should not have. They should have allowed the debate to go on there.
But he was meant to conclude the debate. That was as per plan. It wasn't a last-minute addition.
No. But why was the Lok Sabha adjourned after that?
The Lok Sabha wasn't adjourned, sir. He was speaking in the Rajya Sabha. It was day 2 of.
Yeah, I mean that's what.
It was day 2 of the Constitution debate because that was as per the norm. He was supposed to conclude the debate, which he did.
No, he was supposed to conclude the debate, but after that, why was the House adjourned? And now,
After
see, they
conclusion,
could
the
have been.
House will be adjourned.
No, let me complete. Let me complete.
No, but you are talking in a fact.
Mr. Agarwal, let him finish. I'll come to you. Let him finish.
Yes. See, in fact, because BJP one after the other has been insulting Baba Saheb Ambedkar ji, and today, the kind of the statement what Amit Shah ji has made, saying that Baba Saheb Ambedkar ka naam lena to fashion ho gaya. I mean, what is he trying to say? I mean, is he not insulting the father of the Constitution? I mean, is this the respect that he's paying by saying that unka naam lena to fashion ho gaya hai? I mean, this is something which definitely cannot be tolerated. And I think we all demand the resignation of our Honorable Home Minister Amit Shah ji for his remarks. And he has been continuously, not only he, even the party man, the BJP, in fact, has zero respect for Ambedkar ji. And if you look at the statements and the kind of the violation of the constitution that is being made in our country, it is in front of the people of the country, it is in front of the nation. And based on that, if you look at the Lok Sabha result, the people in fact knew very well that the BJP in fact had got the absolute majority. They were all set to change the constitution of Baba Saheb Ambedkar ji. What the BJP is talking today. And since they have lost the majority in the Lok Sabha and they don't have the majority in the Rajya Sabha, but in spite of that, they are trying to, play around with the constitution and introducing the unconstitutional bills, knowing pretty well that they will not be able to pass, but they just want to divert the attention of the people from the real issues and then assaulting on the structure of the democracy. And this is what the respect what the BJP has got for Baba Saheb Ambedkar. Baba Saheb Ambedkar, in fact, is the one who has given us a book which governs the country, which governs the rights of everyone, and which gives the rights to all of us. Because of that, we are all
sure, but Khalikur Rahman, then why was Baba Saheb Ambedkar not given the Bharat Ratna by successive Congress governments? Why was his contribution neglected for the longest time? Why was there no reservation for neo-Buddhists that was done by Congress in its time? It was only done in 1990 under a coalition government, not of the Congress.
No, see, because we never believed in tokenism or symbolism. We have always paid the respect to Baba Saheb Ambedkar ji.
How is that tokenism though? If you are not giving credit where it's due, how is that tokenism?
It is the BJP. It is. See, BJP always
We should talk on facts.
Sir. You let me speak. If you want to let me
spoke for such a long time.
You've made your point, Khalikur Rahman. Gopal Agarwal, go ahead.
Yeah, Poonamji, we have to understand that what we are debating. We are debating who respects Ambedkar ji and who is undermining his legacy and his contribution to the constitution and the development and growth of the country. Why he was not given a place into the Constitutional Assembly out of 296 people initially by Nehru ji and other those leaders of the Congress? Why? They have to answer. Why he was not given Bharat Ratna? Why his oil portrait was not put in the parliament? Why his birthplace and other, his education, his place where he took oath for Buddhism, where he talked about so many religious upliftment, why those places were not given?
Absolutely, because the opposition may say all of this is tokenism, but it's really walking the talk. So at least as far as the narrative war is concerned, who really seems to be having the edge? But speaking of Baba Saheb Ambedkar and the constitution, I want to get in Sumit Chand there as well. We were talking about the Uniform Civil Code when we have the AIMIM spokesperson as well. And like I said, Baba Saheb Ambedkar advocated for a uniform code. He wanted that provision to be made into the constitution. But here we are, 75 years of celebrating the constitution of the country, and we're far, far away from implementing a uniform code for this country.
Before even I start speaking, I've been hearing the debate from both the sides. And it's very interesting, but just to give a perspective as to the moment when we had got this constitution, I mean, it took 2 years, 11 months and 17 days to write this constitution, where we, the people of India, we adopted, enacted and gave to ourselves this constitution. It was all of us. And while this constitution was made, we also gave the power for amendments. And those amendments were given, and while this discussion, the first discussion which took place in the parliament, where the chairman of the drafting committee of the constitution, of course, Mr. Ambedkar, Dr. Ambedkar had said one wonderful line which is very relevant today. Why? Because that line said, and this is recorded in the parliament speeches, however good a constitution may be, if those who are implementing it are not good, it will prove to be bad. And however bad a constitution may be, if those implementing it is good, it will prove to be good. Now, that was the thought behind, when this constitution was made, drafted. Now, coming to the UCC. UCC, please understand, Article 44 of the Constitution itself, which talks about the directive principles, it states that the state shall endeavor to secure for all citizens a uniform civil code throughout the territory of India. Now, we also know that the Constitution, these articles were made, and if you go into the preamble, now this is very interesting. The preamble in the amendment, in the 42nd Amendment in 1976, when this amendment came in and we introduced the word secular. Secular word in the preamble made it part of the basic structure of the Constitution. So, and in Keshavan Bharti case, 13 constitutional judge bench had said of the Supreme Court that so far as the amendments are concerned, you can amend the Constitution as long as you do not change or disregard the basic structure of the Constitution. Now, the other interesting part that comes, which should be actually debated, is that now the Constitution itself, there are 2 articles which apparently seems to contradict each other. One, Article 25, which talks about giving everybody the right to practice and profess the religion in the manner they wish. That is going with the secular aspect of the Constitution. And the other is right to equality. Now, whether making a uniform civil code will interfere into the very aspect of Article 25, not giving everybody the right to secure and profess their religion in the manner they want, that's an issue that needs to be debated. Do we need a special uniform civil code, or we can just simply amend the laws to the extent possible? So these are the things that actually needs to be seen and discussed in the parliament, rather than going about...
And a discussion on that is important. That 75 years of the constitution, that is something that needs to be discussed. At least one step in that direction needs to be taken. But so far, all we've seen is objections and objections that have been raised from the opposition side. Unfortunately, I'm completely out of time. I thank you all gentlemen for joining us here on this debate on Plain Speak. It is time for a quick break, but on the other side, we'll get you a super exclusive news break here on CNN News 18. Astounding figures and documents that expose and prove beyond doubt the funding that Justin Trudeau and his allies have been getting from Khalistani elements. Do stay tuned for that.
MDH का किचन किंग he has announced his retirement. In fact, he's one of the greatest cricketers to have represented India, and finally he's decided to draw curtains on his career after having taken over 700 wickets across the format. So that's the news coming in about Ravichandran Ashwin, who has announced retirement from international cricket. Let me go straight across now to CNN News 18's Anand Narsimhan for more on this. Anand, good morning. So big news coming in, R. Ashwin bringing an end to his glorious international career. Give us a little bit more about, this big decision that he has taken. Was it coming? Are you surprised? Is it a stunning development?
Well, talk has been going on for a while, and he has been towards the sunset of his career for a while. And with the others coming into the play, Ashwin must have decided to call time on his career at a point where he believed that there was not much for him to add. Although we believe that he will continue to show his wares or fly his wares in the T20 format, that is IPL. But Ashwin for sure is someone that Indian cricket will sorely miss, because he has delivered and he has stood up for the country when it mattered most. And who can ever forget how we got our T20 World Cup victory again because of that presence of mind that he showed as a very, very sharp cricketer. A ball bowled outside his leg stump, and then he just stood out there, and it was called a wide, and then driving the next ball up to a boundary and getting India that impossible victory was something which everybody watched. The minds that he used with respect to when we played Pakistan. But even in Test cricket, he has been Bharat's go-to guy, Team India's go-to guy at many points, and not just as a bowler but also as a batsman across the formats. He has come in lower down the order and stemmed the rut, and oftentimes pulled us out of a hole, and from a position of discomfort and position of disadvantage, taken us to a position from where we have eventually gone on to either save the test or even win it. So there are many classic examples there. More importantly, Ashwin has always spoken his mind. He always believed that he was up for leadership at some point in his career. He also believed that he should be leading the side as a captain. He tried to lead sides and also prove his merit as a captain. But somehow, with injuries, also with him being a little too matter of fact and straight up in terms of talking with a straight bat, sometimes also put pay to some of his chances. But overall, he's come back. Whenever people have written him off, he has come back. Whenever people have thought that he will not be able to deliver, he has come back and stood up for the country. And oftentimes he's been called for duties, national duties, when he was actually playing List A or first class cricket, thinking that his career is over or he's not going to get called. But he has, and he had 700 plus international wickets in international cricket across the three formats. Many thought he would try and go up to 800 and try and get somewhere closer to Mutaya Muralidharan. Unfortunately, that's not true. But yes, across his first class career, he has more than 800 wickets across all formats of the game, and something that we should be very, very proud of. That the soon to be or just turned 38-year-old, he's about 38 years and 92 days as of now. So he was towards the sunset of his career. India will fondly remember him every time, and with a lot of respect, because he brought a certain brevity, competitiveness, and also chutzpah, which few cricketers can bring. And he's not just a spinner. He was an all-rounder in the true sense, because he could do his bit with the bat, and oftentimes he's helped us. And everybody would see that after some of the Sri Lankan spinners, someone who mastered the carom ball and showed how it is done was also Ravichandran Ashwin.
He has announced his retirement. In fact, he's one of the greatest cricketers to have represented India. And finally, he's decided to draw curtains on his career after having taken over 700 wickets across the format. So that's the news coming in about Ravichandran Ashwin, who has announced retirement from international cricket. Let me go straight across now to CNN News 18's Anand Narasimhan for more on this. Anand, good morning. So big news coming in. R. Ashwin bringing an end to his glorious international career. Give us a little bit more about, this big decision that he has taken. Was it coming? Are you surprised? Is it a stunning development?
Well, talk has been going on.
Thank you for staying with us. A CNN News 18 exclusive news break has blown the lid on the money trail between Khalistani extremists and Justin Trudeau's Liberal Party and his ally Jagmeet Singh's NDP. In an exclusive, we've learned that Kanishka bombing accused Ripudaman Singh, who was killed in 2022, and Inderjeet Singh, who is now a free man in Canada, donated to Jagmeet Singh's NDP. The funding has been taking place since 2012. However, Hardeep Sahota, a Canadian national that's linked with the Khalistani Liberation Force activists, has been funding to Trudeau's Liberal Party as well. Jagmeet Singh and the New Democratic Party began supporting Justin Trudeau's Liberal government in 2017. They kept it afloat with a minority status, having a direct impact on strained ties with India. However, Jagmeet Singh withdrew support in September 2024. In fact, he is now gunning for Justin Trudeau, wants him to resign. This after ratings for Justin Trudeau are dipping in opinion polls ahead of general elections there next year. Now, the K link to Trudeau and his former ally Jagmeet Singh stands completely exposed. CNN News 18 has accessed these funding records from Elections Canada that show donations to NDP and the Liberal Party. The funding continued as Jagmeet Singh and Trudeau formed alliance in 2019 is possibly the reason behind Justin Trudeau's shield for K terrorists and K extremists and turning a blind eye. Not only turning a blind eye and giving a platform, in fact, to these Khalistani elements, but also making outrageous and ludicrous allegations against India without an ounce of proof. So as we now prove that this funding and these donations by Khalistani elements to Canadian parties that are in government, that now stands exposed, will this only mount Justin Trudeau's woes in election year? We'll find that out.
Today, I'm calling on Justin Trudeau to resign. He has to go. Right now, Canadians are struggling with the cost of living.
Let's open this up. Tarakarta, former director NSCS, and Deepak Vora, former diplomat, join us on this broadcast. Tarakarta, let me begin by asking you, it's not a secret. We know the kind of support that comes in from Khalistani elements to parties like the NDP. Now we have proof of donations that were made to the Liberal Party as well. So is this really sort of a quid pro quo that we see in Canada, and that has perhaps prompted Justin Trudeau and the Canadian side to make the kind of outrageous comments and allegations they've made against India in the recent past?
I think this is quite a scoop you all have got in terms of, this is solid news. This is something that is difficult to deny. Obviously, we all knew that he was playing the Khalistan card. It was not out of charity. Trudeau is not exactly known for charitable purposes. So he's doing it for some reason. What's the reason? Voting, yes, certainly elected votes. But if you're saying that there is actual funding by these hardcore terrorists whom you just named for his Liberal Party, then there you go. That is amazing scoop that you'll have got. But his own minister has now accused him of costly political gimmickry. That's what he does. He does that all the time. So that's why she resigned. The Canadian the finance minister finally resigned because she said this is what he does. So he seems to be somebody who's very adept at using every cause to sort of further his own career, not that of Canada. Jagmeet Singh says that they're fighting among themselves rather than fighting for Canada. So everybody's, I think, finally seen through what this man does. And if there are, however, funds going directly to his party, I think we need to take that up because that is an extremely serious issue.
It is an extremely serious issue, but does Canada believe it's an extremely serious issue, at least as far as ties with India are concerned? Deepak Vora, Canada has, in the recent past especially, behaved in a way, throwing caution to the wind, not really caring of how deep India-Canada ties go and the impact that the kind of statements that Justin Trudeau has made himself would have on those ties. But this is proof here that, like Tarakarta was saying, that's difficult to deny. There is funding coming in, there are donations that are made by not only pro-Khalistani elements who may have affiliations with banned organizations, but a man who was convicted, the only man who was convicted for the Kanishka bombing, who now is a free man in Canada.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Always a pleasure to be on the channel. And I've been listening to what you've said and what Ms. Karta said. Both of you are brilliant. I don't need to be here. You know it all. When the thing first happened about the Indian community and all the nonsense that Trudeau was talking, that India was involved in killing some plumber or his darling plumber, what did we say? We said you are playing with fire for vote bank politics. We've been consistent right through. And this clown, I call him the clown of Canada, forgive me for my blunt language. I know the gentleman. This is a gimmick to stay in power. He knows he's never coming back. He has insulted and humiliated Donald Trump at the G7 NATO summit in London. He mocked him. Trump doesn't forget. Trump called him two-faced. And then when Trump said that Canada is pushing all these illegals into America, if they don't stop, I'll put 25% tariffs. And this guy, Trudeau, who imagines he's God's gift to the world, He flew, and I'm told, ma'am, I have friends in the incoming Trump administration. They said he rolled on the ground in front, he groveled in front of Trump and said, this will crush Canada's economy. When Trump said, then you can become the 51st state of the United States. And he told the Mexicans the same thing. If you don't stop this Chinese manufactured fentanyl from coming in, you know what I'll do to you. Ma'am, 24 hours later, Mexico made its biggest ever haul of fentanyl. So when you hit these guys, when you threaten action, they behave. Now, what's happening to Trudeau? Whatever happens, he wants to stay in power because he knows he's never coming back. He's probably the most intensely disliked person, not just in Bharat and in his own country, but among the so-called, oh, we have got allies and partners in the GS and NATO. Nobody trusts him. Nobody has come out in support of this character. But he is so obstinate. But he also knows that only Jagmag Singh stands. They call it a pension when you finish your normal term in parliament. He wants to keep that. So he's not going to throw this man out. Ma'am, this is a clash between one man whose ego and his country. And this man's ego is bigger than his country. No, 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 no. Mr. Dustbin Trudeau, Canada, the Western Hemisphere, and the world will be better without you. Go away. Do the world a favor.
And that's really
what
his allies and even Jagmeet Singh, his former ally, now is saying, that we don't want him. There's absolute no confidence in Justin Trudeau. Tarakarta, then what explains the kind of behavior that we're now seeing from Justin Trudeau? If political compulsions and keeping his government afloat with Jagmeet Singh right next to him was the reason, now that is out. Why do we still see Justin Trudeau and the Liberal Party wanting to pander to the pro-Khalistanis and to these people who've been funding them left, right and centre, but who've also been abusing India, have been spewing anti-India hate openly?
See, there's two things here. Recently, they lost, I think it was 4 by-elections. His party lost, right? But that doesn't really translate into a huge win for the others, for the opposition. They're not that great either. So both sides are not that confident of elections. Trudeau is simply going to hang on. I mean, though they are calling for him to resign, I doubt like the ambassador said, he's not the kind who will walk away in a sort of dignified manner. That's not him at all. But I just want to make one thing clear. See, the funds, if it has come from a convicted terrorist, that is an issue under international law. It is not something that you can brush aside. One. And number two is, we have established records of funding. I mean, I don't want to go on raising this ISI bogey, but the Pakistan bogey, there are funds coming from Pakistan for these people. So you've got two sort of, benchmarks on which to see how you can handle this. And I think we should raise the level in this if you've got this amazing amount of proof that you've managed to produce. We should use this to get this guy on board. I mean, how can this man, I don't know any other country who does this, right? Who takes money from terrorists, then supports them. And Kanishka bombing is the worst airline disaster, terrorist attack in the world up to now. That's not something you can hide away. But why are they still supporting them? Well, obviously, he's getting money, he's getting votes, he's getting he's getting a bunch of things from these people at a time when his popularity with Canadians is low. Canadian economy is in terrible bad shape.
So this is Justin Trudeau then clutching at straws. Basically, yes, let's clutch at whatever works for me, because it is really scraping the bottom of the barrel for him at this moment, going into elections next year. But Deepak Vora, I want to just ask you this before we wrap this up. Can India, diplomatically speaking, can New Delhi pick this up with the Canadian side? And if yes, how can we turn the screws on them over the kind of funding that it has received from Khalistani terrorists, from Khalistani elements that India has on multiple occasions asked for extradition of?
Ma'am, I'm not speaking on behalf of the government, but sure. Personally, what would I do? There's a racket, you've heard about it, called the Financial Action Task Force. And that talks about money laundering. They hit our neighbors with that. They've hit others with that. They've never hit us because our systems are very transparent. We should bring it to their notice that this guy, this Dustbin Trudeau, legal son of, not biological, legal son of Pierre Trudeau, is involved in money laundering. and terrorist finance. And that, I believe, would be such a tight slap on the fellow's face and on Canada. Most Canadians want to see his back and say, go away, go and settle down wherever you want to, but leave Canada for God's sake. If we take it to FATF, the Financial Action Task Force, he'll be in deep trouble, man. I don't know whether we'll do it, but I would rather that we did.
Sure, but there are ways to do it. We certainly hope that the pressure is kept on the Canadian side. Justin Trudeau or no, we don't know what happens in elections next year, but at least until the next 8 months, we are going to be seeing Justin Trudeau at the helm, of course, unless he's forced out. But we do hope that the ties between India and Canada are not sacrificed at the altar of one party or one coalition pandering to terrorists and Khalistani sympathizers. I'll leave it at that. I thank you both for joining us here on this edition and sharing your perspective. Time for a quick break on this edition of Plain Speak, but on the other side, we'll get you details of the talks that NSA Doval held in Beijing with his Chinese foreign minister and what exactly transpired in that meeting. We'll tell you.
He has announced his retirement. In fact, he's one of the greatest cricketers to have represented India. And finally, he's decided to draw curtains on his career after having taken over 700 wickets across the format. So that's the news coming in about Ravichandran Ashwin, who has announced retirement from international cricket. Let me go straight across now to CNN News 18's Anand Narsimhan for more on this. Anand, good morning. So big news coming in. R. Ashwin bringing an end to his glorious international career. Give us a little bit more about, this big decision that he has taken. Was it coming? Are you surprised? Is it a stunning development?
Well, talk has been going on for a while, and he has been towards the sunset of his career for a while. And with the others coming into the play, Ashwin must have decided to call time on his career at a point where he believed that there was not much for him to add. Although we believe that he will continue to show his wares or fly his wares in the T20 format, that is IPL. But Ashwin for sure is someone that Indian cricket will sorely miss, because he has delivered and he has stood up for the country when it mattered most. And who can ever forget how we got our T20 World Cup victory again because of that presence of mind that he showed as a very, very sharp cricketer. A ball bowled outside his leg stump, and then he just stood out there and it was called a wide, and then driving the next ball up to a boundary and getting India that impossible victory was something which everybody watched, the minds that he used with respect to when we played Pakistan. But even in Test cricket, he has been Bharat's go-to guy, Team India's go-to guy at many points, and not just as a bowler but also as a batsman across the formats. He has come in lower down the order and stemmed the rut, and oftentimes pulled us out of a hole, and from a position of discomfort and position of disadvantage, taken us to a position from where we have eventually gone on to either save the test or even win it. So there are many, many classic, examples there. More importantly, Ashwin has always spoken his mind. He always believed that he was up for leadership at some point in his career. He also believed that he should be leading the side as a captain. He tried to lead sides and also prove his merit as a captain. But somehow, with injuries, also with him being a little too matter of fact and straight up in terms of talking with a straight bat, sometimes also put pay to some of his chances. But overall, he's come back. Whenever people have written him off, he has come back. Whenever people have thought that he will not be able to deliver, he has come back and stood up for the country. And oftentimes he's been called for duties, national duties, when he was actually playing List A or first class cricket, thinking that his career is over or he's not going to get called. But he has, and he had 700 plus international wickets in international cricket across the three formats. Many thought he would try and go up to 800 and try and get somewhere closer to Muthiah Muralidharan. Unfortunately, that's not true. But yes, across his first class career, he has more than 800 wickets across all formats of the game, and something that we should be very, very proud of. that the soon to be or just turned 38-year-old, he's about 38 years and 92 days as of now. So he was towards the sunset of his career. India will fondly remember him every time, and with a lot of respect, because he brought a certain brevity, competitiveness, and also chutzpah, which few cricketers can bring. And he is not just a spinner. He was an all-rounder in the true sense, because he could do his bit with the bat, and oftentimes he's helped us. And everybody would see that after some of the Sri Lankan spinners, someone who mastered the carom ball and showed how it is done was also Ravichandran Ashwin.
He has announced his retirement. In fact, he's one of the greatest cricketers to have represented India. And finally, he's decided to draw curtains on his career after having taken over 700 wickets across the format. So that's the news coming in about Ravichandran Ashwin, who has announced retirement from international cricket. Let me go straight across now to CNN News 18's Anand Narasimhan for more on this. Anand, good morning. So big news coming in, R. Ashwin bringing an end to his glorious international career. Give us a little bit more about, this big decision that he has taken. Was it coming? Are you surprised? Is it a stunning development?
Well, talk has been going on for a while, and he has been towards the sunset of his career for a while. And with the others coming into the play, Ashwin must have decided to call time on his career at a point where he believed that there was not much for him to add. Although we believe that he will continue to show his wares or fly his wares in the T20 format, that is IPL. But Ashwin for sure is someone that Indian cricket will sorely miss, because he has delivered and he has stood up for the country when it mattered most. And who can ever forget?
Welcome back. You're watching Plain Speak. After a 5-year hiatus, India and China resumed border talks today. India's and China's special representative for the border mechanism, National Security Advisor Ajit Doval, and Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi met in Beijing to discuss a range of issues, including management of peace and tranquility along the line of actual control and restoration of bilateral ties that were frozen for over 4 years due to the military escalation from the Chinese side in eastern Ladakh. The meeting holds great significance for a number of reasons. Despite the fact that it's the first meeting after a 5-year break, it is in fact the first meeting after the big breakthrough that came to the fore of disengagement in Demchok and Depsang areas. This meeting in Beijing aims to bring positive momentum and enhance mutual trust and confidence, the trust that was deeply misplaced as far as New Delhi is concerned. The two representatives also deliberated upon pending LAC issues that would pave the way for the next step, which is de-escalation. The talks come against the backdrop of a major breakthrough at the LAC, like I pointed out. So what's the current situation? Both sides conduct patrols twice each week. This is in Depsang and Demchok, the last two remaining points where patrolling was blocked and where there was still issues that were being ironed out between the two sides. The patrolling was allowed after the October 21st deal that not only provided authorized access to the Indian Army, but also resumed grazing rights for Indians in the area. However, a decision on the moratorium on patrolling in buffer zones is yet to be reached upon. Whether that happens in this diplomatic meet or happens in a military meet later on, that's something that we'll find out after we get the details of this particular meeting in Beijing. However, External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar, remember, had said in the past that about 75% of the disengagement problems with China have been sorted out along the line of actual control. Both India and China have mutually agreed upon and verified disengagement from 5 friction points in eastern Ladakh, including Galwan Valley, which saw the deadliest clash when the ties hit a break-even point. That was in Galwan. Pangong So is also somewhere where we've disengaged. I beg your pardon. Gogra Hot Springs, Demchok and Depsang areas as well, the disengagement is complete. Multiple high-level diplomatic interactions took place. There were military commander-level talks that were held on both sides as well to finally come at that deal that came through in October this year. Now, China in its response has said that it's ready to work with India to implement the important common understandings, respect each other's core interests and major concerns, also strengthen mutual trust through dialogue and communication. China says they want to properly settle differences with sincerity and good faith and bring bilateral relations back to the track of a stable and healthy development as soon as possible. Now, the message is clear. The talks in Beijing are likely to bring about positive outcomes for both countries, ensuring and only if China ends up holding its end of the bargain. We do hope that that happens. Shifting focus now, and I want to leave you with this on this edition of Plain Speak. It is really an end of an era because star Indian spinner Ravichandran Ashwin has announced his retirement from international cricket. The 38-year-old spinner in India, remember, holds the record of being the second leading wicket taker in international cricket as well as Test. Since making his Test debut for India against West Indies in 2011, Ashwin has played a total of 106 matches, taken 537 wickets in Tests alone. Only Anil Kumble has dismissed more batters than him in 5-day format for the game for India. And not just that, he really is a complete all-rounder because on several occasions when India's batters fail, he was the one who rose up to occasion. His boots are going to be heavy to fill.
He has announced his retirement. In fact, he's one of the greatest cricketers to have represented India. And finally, he's decided to draw curtains on his career after having taken over 700 wickets across the format. So that's the news coming in about Ravichandran Ashwin, who has announced retirement from international cricket. Let me go straight across now to CNN News 18's Anand Narasimhan for more on this. Anand, good morning. So big news coming in. R. Ashwin bringing an end to his glorious international career. Give us a little bit more about, this big decision that he has taken. Was it coming? Are you surprised? Is it a stunning development?
Well, talk has been going on for a while, and he has been towards the sunset of his career for a while. And with the others coming into the play, Ashwin must have decided to call time on his career at a point where he believed that there was not much for him to add. Although we believe that he will continue to show his wares or fly his wares in the T20 format, that is IPL. But Ashwin for sure is someone that Indian cricket will sorely miss because he has delivered and he has stood up for the country when it mattered most. And who can ever forget how we got our T20 World Cup victory again because of that presence of mind that he showed as a very, very sharp cricketer. A ball bowled outside his leg stump and then he just stood out there and it was called a wide, and then driving the next ball up to a boundary and getting India that impossible victory was something which everybody watched, the minds that he used with respect to when we played Pakistan. But even in Test cricket, he has been Bharat's go-to guy, Team India's go-to guy at many points, and not just as a bowler but also as a batsman across the formats. He has come in lower down the order and stemmed the rut, and oftentimes pulled us out of a hole and from a position of discomfort and position of disadvantage, taken us to a position from where we have eventually gone on to either save the Test or even win it. So there are many, many classic, examples there. More importantly, Ashwin has always spoken his mind. He always believed that he was up for leadership at some point in his career. He also believed that he should be leading the side as a captain. He tried to lead sides and also prove his merit as a captain. But somehow, with injuries, also with him being a little too matter of fact straight up in terms of talking with a straight bat, sometimes also put paid to some of his chances. But overall, he's come back. Whenever people have written him off, he has come back. Whenever people have thought that he will not be able to deliver, he has come back and stood up for the country. And oftentimes he's been called for duties, national duties, when he was actually playing List A or first class cricket, thinking that his career is over or he's not going to get called. But he has, and he had 700 plus international wickets in international cricket across the three formats. Many thought he would try and go up to 800 and try and get somewhere closer to Muthiah Muralidharan. Unfortunately, that's not true. But yes, across his first class career, he has more than 800 wickets across all formats of the game, and something that we should be very, very proud of. That the soon to be or just turned 38-year-old, he's about 38 years and 92 days as of now. So he was towards the sunset of his career. India will fondly remember him every time, and with a lot of respect, because he brought a certain brevity, competitiveness, and also chutzpah, which few cricketers can bring. And he is not just a spinner. He was an all-rounder in the true sense. because he could do his bit with the bat, and oftentimes he's helped us. And everybody would see that after some of the Sri Lankan spinners, someone who mastered the carom ball and showed how it is done was also Ravichandran Ashwin.
He has announced his retirement. In fact, he's one of the greatest cricketers to have represented India. And finally, he's decided to draw curtains on his career after having taken over 700 wickets across the format. So that's the news coming in about Ravichandran Ashwin, who has announced retirement from international cricket.
News 18 Primetime Studio.
Namaste, Jai Hind, and welcome to this edition of The Right Stand. I'm Anand Narsimhan, and we are coming to you live from the CNN News 18 Primetime Studio, presented by Green Lamb Laminates. On this edition of The Right Stand, we bring you part 2 of the CNN News 18 K-Files investigation into the explosive revelations of Khalistani separatists who have been operating out of Canadian soil. This clincher expose reveals how much the Trudeau establishment has helped resettle these elements who have been wanted by the Bharatiya government. These startling facts and astounding figures accessed by CNN News 18 show how Canada has been a haven for K sympathizers spreading venom against Bharat. Since 2013, Canada has provided refuge to anti-Bharat elements. Post-2019, there's been a clear spike in the number of K backers who sought refuge in Canada, even as they called Bharat an alleged nation of persecution. First up, breaking down the exclusive details shared with us by CNN News 18's Bhupinder Azad, an integral key member of our input desk. CNN News 18 posed big questions to the Canada immigration authorities and the refugee division, asking them about the presence of individuals being K suspects or K militants who sought asylum between January 2013 to November 2024, and the number of K militants who cited Bharat as a quote-unquote country of alleged persecution. These facts were shared by the Canadian government's Immigration and Refugee Division with CNN News 18's Bhupinder Azad. Now, in their response, the Canada government shared statistics from the 1st of January 2013 to October 31, 2024. The Immigration and Refugee Division confirmed a suspicion on how K backers sought asylum, refuge, protection, alleging Bharat as the country of alleged persecution. Sample this. In 2013, 38 K extremists of 83 terror sympathizers sought asylum in Canada. In 2014, that number went up to 40 out of 70 terror sympathizers who sought asylum. In 2015, 47 Sikh militants or K backers out of 107 terror sympathizers sought asylum. In 2016, that number goes up to 54 out of 78. In 2017, 64. So the number goes up again. 64 backers out of 94 sympathizers seeking asylum. They were Sikh militants or Khalistani terrorists. In 2018, that number goes up to 68 out of 109. Now here's the jump that happens post 2019-2020. 2019, that number comes down to 35 out of 66 terror sympathizers who sought asylum. In 2020, that number is 28 out of 42. Now, the record shows less than 100 asylum requests made per year between 2013 and 2020. But there's a significant spike post 2020. In 2019,